Straight all day.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all these energies together into one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book. There's a show, and you are listening to the masterclass right now that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, we're going to talk some relationship building principles. Now, I talked about relationships many times on this show. The earliest being masterclass number 231, building relationships before you need them. Masterclass 1439, the key to building relationships is time. And number 1260, people skills that will improve your interpersonal relations immediately. Masterclass number 1234, relationships, stop keeping score. So I would suggest you refer yourself to those masterclasses ASAP so you can brush up on dealing with people and building relationships. And I also talked about relationships in many other episodes of this show, probably close to 100 of them as I'm looking through it right now. I'm not going to list all these out for you, but if you have access to the game group membership, you can just go into the member portal. There is a tab there for the game group masterclass master list, and you can see every episode that's ever come out of this show. We're over 1,400 of them, maybe even over 1,500 by the time you listen to this. So there's a lot to go through. So you go through those and you can see them for yourself, but refer yourself to those four specifically that I told you about already. The topic here today, again, is relationship building principles. Now, people often ask me things about building relationships only when it's a little bit too late for them. And when is it too late to ask about building relationships? Is when you realize that you don't have any useful relationships to help them with your current issues or needs. That's usually when people ask me about building relationships. Like, Dre, how do I make connections? How do I get to know this person or that person? How do you know these people? Or do you know anyone you could hook me up with? I get people asking me these things all the time. And usually they only ask when they've done a little bit of thinking, at least a little bit of thinking about their situation. They realize, damn, I don't know anybody. Nobody knows me. I don't have the right connections, even though I might have skills, even though I may have some resources, even think I may have some game, but I don't know anybody, so I'm not able to activate it and get the necessary ROI that I want out of it. Damn, I need some relationships. And then people go looking for relationships by the time that they realize that they need them. This is not the time to build relationships when you realize you need them because, well, there's many reasons why this is not the time. And I'm going to talk about that here in this masterclass and also in the future one that I got coming very soon. So you should be listening to everyone that ever comes out and make sure you get the full material. You get that by going to Work on Your Game University, getting the free 2-week access to the game group membership. See it for yourself, see what it's like, see what you're getting, and then you can make a decision whether you want to keep it or not. But your first 2 weeks are free either way. So if you're listening to this right now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever, I would suggest you go to Work on Your Game University at workonyourgameu.com. See what is being offered to you for free. The first 2 weeks of the game group membership, take advantage of it, see what you're getting, and then you could decide for yourself. I don't even have to sell you on it. I'll let you sell yourself by seeing what you're getting and understanding, experiencing the value. Relationship building principles is the topic again today. Point number 1, you got to know who you're dealing with. You want to build a relationship with someone, you need to know who they are, know something about them, know something about what they have going on. At least when you approach this person or you speak to this person or you finally get introduced to this person, have some idea who they are, what they have going on, what matters to them, what doesn't matter to them, what they like, what they don't like. Know something. Do not go in blind to another person when you're the one who needs a relationship, but you go in blind, not knowing anything, sounding like you don't know anything, which is kind of like you're just letting that person know that that they're not that important to you, even though in your mind, logically, consciously, you're like, this person is very important to me because I need to connect with them because they have something that I want. But if you go into a person blind, not knowing anything about them, to them, it seems like they're not important to you at all. You're just what is important to you is just what you're trying to get out of them, but not the actual person. And even though, listen, let's keep it real, even though that may be what it is, maybe you don't really care about that person. You just care what you can get out of that person. All right, don't let them think that. All right, even if that is what you think, don't let them think that, because if they think that, you're going to get nowhere with that individual. I'll give you an example. On Instagram, every now and then, every week or so, I get a DM from some random person who will say something like, hey, nice page. What exactly do you do? What all do you do? What do you have going on now? What kind of business are you in? These are the kind of things that people say. They'll say nice page or a nice post, cool profile or something like that. What is it that you're doing? What do you have going on? What business are you in? Etc. etc. Makes no sense when people send me this message. I delete those messages and mark those people as spam so they can't message me again. I mean, you're on my Instagram profile. You had to come to my profile to even send me a damn message. If you just look at a couple of my posts, read a couple of captions, look at the bio, which will take 30 seconds of your time, you have at least a baseline idea of what I got going on and what I'm doing and what I care about and where I'm from, etc., etc. At least have some baseline idea of what I have going on. Anyone who's responding to those messages, nice page, what exactly do you do, what all do you have going on? First of all, you know that's an auto message that person sent. They just copy and paste and send it to a bunch of people, hoping to see who responds to it. And the other thing is, they are letting you know, this is the way that I see it, they're letting me know that they don't really give a damn about me personally, even though they're sending me this DM claiming that my page is nice and they want to know what I do. They are hoping just to open a conversation because there's something that they want. I know that eventually there's somewhere in that conversation, there's something that they want. They may not be coming out with it immediately, but there's something that they want, because otherwise they wouldn't be reaching out to me in the first place, because they obviously don't know who the hell I am, don't give a damn about what I got going on, because if they did, again, they would at least put the time in to know who they're dealing with, as I'm telling you here in point number 1. Every human being, including you, loves hearing and talking about themselves. So when someone comes to you and you can tell that they have gone in blind, no idea who you are or anything about you, they are showing you that they don't believe you are worth the courtesy or respect to at least find out something about you. And if you happen to be the one doing this, you're reaching out to someone because there's something that they have that you want, something that they can do that you need, but you don't even find out enough about them to know how to approach them or know what they're doing or what matters to them. All right, you're giving them a slap in the face. You aren't showing them the courtesy or respect to at least know something. All right, and you're not going to get far in that relationship. And actually, it's not even going to become a relationship. You won't get far in that conversation. If that person happens to be gracious enough, or maybe they just don't know the game enough that they're going to respond to that because they think it might be something real behind it, eventually it's going to come out what you're actually doing. That you're just spamming that person and hoping to get a response so that you can do what you want to do, say what you want to say, and get what you want to get. That relationship's not going to go far. And even if it does, how much energy you think that person is going to put into you, given the amount of energy you put into them? I mean, again, all of us know in the law of karma, we know that the energy you put out is the energy that you get back. So if you're doing that to other people are going to do the exact same thing to you. And whatever relationships you do build, they will be paper thin and nothing more than surface level. Now, is that the kind of life that you want? Is that what you want to build? I would think that you don't. So heed this advice and make your necessary adjustments when it comes to building relationships. Know who a person is. So before you reach out to someone that has something that you want, who can do something that you need, how about you take 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, whatever you need to do, and at least get some background on that person. Do some intel on that person. Find out what they're doing. Find out what they care about. Find out what they're interested in, or the best way to reach them, or what's going on. Know what is going on. Do not go in blind in anything in life these days. It's 2020, and anytime beyond that you're listening to this, it is unacceptable for you to go into a first point of contact with a person knowing absolutely nothing about them, unless they're the person who is consciously and purposely off the grid, and they purposely make it so that nobody can find them or knows what they have going on. But most people are not off the grid. All right, most people like the attention of other people knowing all about them. All right, they love hearing about themselves. They love seeing other people talk about them, and they will put themselves out there and they will give you the material to use to talk about them. So if you go in knowing nothing about them, knowing that they've given you the material to talk about them, or again, what are you letting them know about the way that you value them? What you're letting them know is not nice, right? And they're going to respond in kind most of the time. Point number 2. Today's topic is we're going to talk in some relationship building principles. Point number 2 is you got to put the time in. As I told you, masterclass number 1439. The key to building relationships is time. You must put time into a relationship. I gave y'all the anecdote of J-Lo has a song called Love Don't Cost a Thing. If you ever saw the video, you remember. If you didn't see the video, look it up on YouTube. It's on there right now. J-Lo's sitting on some beach in some beautiful house, and she's opening a package, and she has this beautiful diamond bracelet, and she's on the phone with supposedly her love interest, and she's letting them know, hey, this is a beautiful bracelet, it's excellent, but I wish you were here rather than you sending me another bracelet, because the last thing I need is another bracelet. And the whole song is about, listen, you can't buy this relationship. You want this to be a relationship, you got to put the time in. It's not about the diamonds, it's not about the nice house, it's not about the car or the watch. It's about you putting the time in. That's what makes it a relationship. If you want to build relationships, ladies and gentlemen, you must invest the time. Time is the most valuable resource we have. It's one of the 5 forms of investment, along with money, attention, energy, and focus. It is the one that is non-renewable. And that's what makes it so valuable. What makes time valuable is the fact that you cannot buy more from anybody else. You cannot replace it with anything else. And that's why we value when someone gives us their time, because we know, even if we're not consciously thinking of it, we know that they cannot get more time from anyone else. And this is why you could give a whole lot of money somewhere, but it doesn't have the same meaning as giving time. Because money is easily replaceable. You can make a whole lot of money in a short period of time. You can lose a lot of money in a short period of time. You can get it back the very next day. Time, if you invest all of your time, all of your day with another person, they know that you can't go purchase another day. That's what makes the time so valuable. So if you want to build relationships, the best way to build it is to put the time in. And it goes hand in hand with the thing I said in point number 1. If you could take 5 to 10 minutes just to find out something about a person that most of the people who are reaching out to them don't know, if you could just do that, put that time in, make that investment, when you reach out to that person, you by tenfold increase the chance that person responds to you. Because they can see, all right, here's a person who at least took the time and put the damn energy in to find out something before just reaching out to me with their hand out. All right, I'm gonna give this person the time of day, at least see what they got going on. You cannot build a valuable relationship overnight, ladies and gentlemen. You have to invest in a relationship, and you have to prove to that other person through your actions and through your time investment that you are not just using that person to get something for yourself. Even if you are, all right, even if that's really what you're doing, you don't really care about them, you're just trying to get something out of them because they have something that you want. Listen, let's not act like that doesn't happen in life. That happens in life all the time, but don't make it feel like that's what it is. Even if that is what it is, don't make it seem like that's what it is, because nobody wants to feel like they're being used. You don't like to feel like you're being used, do you? Okay, then don't make other people feel like they're being used, even if they are being used. You have to invest in that relationship, prove that you're not just trying to get something for yourself, and that's kind of hard to prove in a short period of time, at least with anybody with any level of intelligence. So here's a simple tip. Go into relationship building mode when you least need someone's help. When you least need other people's help, when you least are needy, that's when you should think about building relationships. And let me tell you why. Because when you have everything that you need, you're in a pretty good space. You're pretty content with where you're at and what you have going on and your resources. That's when you have a lot to give. You're in a spirit of giving. You have an energy of giving. And because you have that energy of giving, law of association, you will attract other people who are feeling the exact same way. They feel like giving too. You feel taken care of. You're not dripping with neediness. You don't have, in the sales world, they call it commission breath. That's when all you're worried about is getting a commission. All right, that energy of neediness, it repels the very prospects that you want to sell to. But when you have an energy of, listen, I've already made a million sales, I'm good whether you buy or not, but you're still making your sales presentation, you're still out there doing the work, you actually sell more when you're in that space than when you're in the space of desperation. Why? Because again, the law of karma, the energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. The easiest energy to build relationships with is the energy that does not radiate neediness, is the energy that radiates giving, the energy that radiates graciousness, not needing anything. I'm already taken care of. I just want to see how I can help you. I just want to see how I can add value to you. When you come to people with that type of energy, that's when you best build your relationships. Do not don't try to dig a well when you're thirsty, right? Isn't that what the saying is? I got a masterclass coming on that exact topic very soon. But if you want to build a relationship, you got to put the time in, but put the time in when you are in a good space, when you're in a space of non-neediness, when you're in a space of I'm taken care of, I'm handled, I don't need anything from the world. That's the best time to build a relationship, because that's when you're going to get that same energy back from other people. Point number 3, today's topic, we're talking relationship building principles. Lead with value and giving. Do not lead with getting. As I just talked about, all these principles are going to go hand in hand, because relationships are relationships. People will always be people. Lead with value. Lead with giving. Never, ever try to start a relationship with another person by showing them what you want to get out of the relationship or what they can do for you, that's not even going to become a relationship. Now, even if you do need to get something out of somebody, if that's the way that you go to them and that's the way things open, what that becomes is not a relationship. We call that a transaction. And it's okay if you want to have transactions with other people, that's fine. But then what it becomes is now there's like a scoreboard. Masterclass 1234, I told you, in relationships, you got to stop keeping score. If you want to build strong relationships, you can't have a scoreboard where you're keeping score with that other person and everything is transactional. And it's okay to have people in your life where things are transactional, but if you want relationships where people will do things for you and you can build value and equity in a relationship, it can't be all transactions. It needs to be you leading with value and giving because you have something to give, not just worrying about what you can get because you're desperate and needy. If you target a person to build a relationship with, there's probably a reason why you're targeting that person. Because there's something that you want to get out of that person. There's something you want to get out of that relationship. And that's not a bad thing. Listen, all of us need things. All of us want things. All of us have desires. All of us have unfulfilled needs that we cannot fulfill on our own. We need other people to get them done. So there's nothing wrong with having needs and desires and wants. I want to make sure I'm being clear. Because often the things that we want, there's another person who has it or has access to it or knows how to get it that we don't know. So let's keep it real and address that. But here's what makes someone foolish. Not that you need things, because we all do. The fool is the person who goes into a relationship or a potential relationship, guns blazing, just trying to get things. What can I get? What do you have that I want? How can I acquire what you have? How can you give me something? If you go into a relationship with that, listen, people know when they have something that other people want. All right, if you right now are a type of person, you have some specialized knowledge or some insightful ways of seeing things in life, or you have some product or some service, or there's something about you or around you that other people know they want, you know about it. You know that you have something that people want. You know you have some knowledge that people need. You know you have a product that people are trying to buy. You know you have access to some information that nobody else has access to. You know you have some insights that nobody can get anywhere other than getting it from you. You are fully aware of this. So you know that when people come to you, most of the time they're just trying to get something out of you. You know it. You know they're not really trying to build a genuine relationship. You're 100% aware of this. All right. Nobody needs to blow any smoke to let you know or try to make you think that they're trying to build something valuable. They're just trying to get something out of you. But at least when people do come to you, you appreciate that they'll at least play the game with some honor and some integrity and act like that's not all they want. And act like they're not just trying to suck as much as they can out of you. They're not a leech. They're not acting like a leech, even though they are a leech. You can appreciate their class, for lack of a better term. It feels dirty when someone's coming to you and they don't even make any pretenses about they just want to get something out of you. As I said, nobody wants to feel like they're being used. Nobody likes that feeling. Even when they know they're being used, they don't want to feel like they're being used. At least act like it's something other than that. This is just part of the art of dealing with other people. Dealing with other people is not scientific. It's not like I can write down a formula and say, all right, they say this, do this. If they got that, do that. If they look this way, you do this. It's not the way it works in life. It's an art. It's not a science. And you learn a lot of art through experience. In the 48 Laws of Power, there's a chapter on asking for help. And it says, when you're asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. So if you want something from another person, do not come to them and tell them what you want or what you need or how they can help you or how you're needy and how what you have is exactly what is going to help them out. They probably already know that, but actually people don't really give a damn. I mean, do you really care when someone tells you what they need? Not really. Not as much as you care about what you need. You don't care as much about them as you do about you. You wouldn't be you if you did. Now, we all got to look out for number one. So if you want something from another person, don't act like you don't want it, but instead of going to them and telling them what you need, instead tell them how doing something for you would actually do something for them at the same time. Because people are much, much, much more driven by self-interest than they are driven by mercy, gratitude, or charity. Let me say that one more time, so I want to make sure you heard me. People are much more driven by self-interest and personal gain than they are driven by mercy, gratitude, and charity. If you want something from another person, show them how they benefit from it, not how you benefit. How you benefit, does not matter to another person. If you happen to benefit at the same time that they're benefiting, great. You don't even have to tell them that you're benefiting. Just let them know how they benefit. And most people will be so focused on what they're getting that they don't give a damn whether you get something or not. All they're focused on is what they get. Why? Because every human being is driven by self-interest, and this includes you. So don't think that this is just everybody else and not you. No, you as well. If someone wants to move you to action, they shouldn't tell you what they get, because you don't give a damn what they get. You care what you get. And that's what moves you to action. Even better, showing how, again, as I just said, show them how what you want, whatever that happens to be, that you don't even have to mention, helps them get what they want. Tell people what they want. Tell people about themselves. Talk to people about their self-interest. All right, and they'll listen to you all day, and they'll even do what you want them to do. Don't be needy. Don't be greedy. And even if you are needy or greedy, don't act like you're needy or greedy. Again, learn to cloak your neediness in the clothing of giving to other people, giving people what they want. When you can learn how everything that you do, when you learn how to dress up everything that you do in the form of other people's self-interest, you will find that your power and influence and your ability to persuade goes up 10 times. You 10x your ability to influence and persuade, not because what you're offering has gotten any better. It's just because the way that you present what you're offering has improved. You're just changing the way that you're positioning yourself by showing people what they get rather than telling them what you want to get. Because as I told you, and I'm going to tell you probably many more times in this show, not this episode, but on this show, nobody gives a damn about you and what you want. They don't. People don't care. They only care about what they get. So if you want to get better at influencing people, don't use the word I, don't use the word me, use the word you, because that's what people want to hear about. Let's recap today's class, which is relationship building principles. People often ask me about building relationships only once they realize that they don't have any and they need something done. So let me tell you how you can do this ahead of time. Number one, if you're trying to deal with another person, know who you're dealing with. Don't go in blind. Find out who they are. Find out what they're about. Take 30 seconds to do some intel, some background, or 30 minutes, or 30 hours, or 30 days to do some intel on a person so you know who the hell they are and what they're about without just blindly going in and talking about what you want or acting like you care about them when you really don't. Listen, people can read through the bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The way that you can read through other people's bullshit, people can read through your bullshit. Therefore, here's the best practice. Don't have any bullshit with you, because people can tell when it's bullshit. All right, you're not any better at disguising it than anybody else is. You won't get far in any relationship when you're only talking about yourself. Point number two, put the time in. I told you in masterclass 1439, the key to building relationships is putting in the time. You cannot build a valuable relationship overnight. You must invest in it and prove that you are not just using a person to get something for yourself. And that can be very hard to prove in short periods of time. So here's a simple tip. Go into relationship building mode when you least need another person's help, because you have something to give. You have the energy of giving. You are not dripping with commission breath, as they say in sales. Is the easiest energy to build relationships with, because you are not radiating neediness. Point number three, lead with value and lead with giving. Do not lead with getting, ever, ever, ever. If you target a person to build a relationship with, we know there's a reason. There's something you want to get out that person. Nothing wrong with that, because we all need stuff. But people know when they have what other people want. They know that you're coming to them because you want something, but learn how to play the game. Learn the art of dissemination. Learn the art of at least making it feel like it's something other than what it actually is, so that people can save face and they don't feel like they're being used. Nobody wants to feel like they're being used, and people will reject you if they feel like you are using them and you don't have any art. You don't have any, the term is escaping me, but if you don't have any kind of style to the way that you're going after what you want, people will reject you, and you'll find that you have very rough relations with other people. You'll be very bad with your people skills, and that's going to be a problem. It's going to hurt you all of your life. 48 Laws of Power tells you when you're asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never appeal to their mercy or gratitude. People are more driven by self-interest and personal gain than they will be ever driven by mercy, gratitude, or charity. People do not care about mercy, gratitude, or charity as much as they care about what they get. Even people who give a whole lot to charity and they make these big charitable donations, let me ask you a question. How do you know about it? How do you know somebody gives a lot to charity? All right, how'd that word get out? Because they want people to know that they did it. All right, so even when someone's being charitable, unless they're doing it anonymously and you don't know about it, if you know about it, that's because they want you to know about it. And guess what that is? Self-interest. All right, this is just the way the world is, people. You can consider this immoral, Machiavellian, whatever you want to call it, but it's the truth. If I'm wrong, show me. Work on your game. Dre all day.